Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video on the channel. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Hope you guys are having a great weekend. It is Sunday, and that means we need to prepare for the upcoming week. We have a lot of technicals to look at on the futures contracts, as well as 5 stocks that I want to show you today. So let's go ahead and jump into this. Press that like button, subscribe to the channel. I live stream every weekday starting at 8 a.m. until around 8:45 a.m. So stay tuned for that. Make sure to press that bell notification so that you guys are alerted every single time that I go live and every single time that I post on the channel. So we're going to go ahead and start this video with the futures. We'll look at the NASDAQ, the S&P, and the Dow. So here we go, guys. Here is the NASDAQ on your screen. This is the daily chart. And what we can see, we already know, we've been talking about this long-term trend line that we are still holding. We have pushed into all-time highs. On Friday, we did hit all-time highs. We sold off from that level. You guys can see that with this red candle that we are seeing. So all-time highs, 14,000, just around 14,200. That will be our new level to watch to the upside. Now to the downside, we're going to have to jump into some shorter term time frames because right now we're at some important levels. We do have this long-term support here around 14,000. I like to just give this a 14,000 flat because it'll be psychological. So right around here at 14,000 is a very psychological level, I believe, on the NASDAQ, and that is something I want to see hold into next week. We are pretty close to that. We closed just about 17 points above that 14,000. So that is definitely a level to watch. We did get the 20-day moving average to cross above the 50-day. That is a good sign in the short term. When you have a shorter term moving average cross above a longer term moving average, that means there is short-term bullish momentum. So we have that 20-day crossover, and we are seeing a nice move higher on the NASDAQ. If we break this down, let's go ahead and break this down into the 10-day, 30-minute. Let's go ahead and just look at what happened last week. So here's your 14,000 level. You can see there is quite a bit of support at that level, and that is definitely a level that I need to see hold to remain bullish here on the NASDAQ in the short term. So 14,000, make sure to have that on your charts. After 14,000, we have some consolidation down here, which was also some previous highs. So we have right around here, anywhere from 13.9 down to 13.8. So 13.9, 13.850, this entire range is the next level to watch if we break down on the NASDAQ. So if we break this 14, I will be watching this 13.9, 13.850 area as the next support. But right now, something that is clear on the NASDAQ is there is a lot of rotation out of the Dow. There is some rotation that we are seeing out of the S&P, and it's moving into tech stocks. So this rotation keeps me a little bit more bullish on the NASDAQ, which is mostly comprised of tech stocks, right? So right now, the trend is still pretty nice to the upside on the NASDAQ. 14,000 support, then 13.9 are two levels that I want to watch. Here on the 4-hour, you can see we do have somewhat of a short-term trend that has formed here. So if we draw this here, and let's go ahead and delete these lines to clear this up just a little bit. So here is another little bit of a shorter term uptrend that I am seeing on the NASDAQ. So right here, you can see multiple touches. You have one here at the start of the trend, you have a touch here, and you had a touch here. So those 3 touches give me some confirmation that this trend line has formed. Now, if we get that pullback down to this trend line, how does the NASDAQ react? I would want to see us bounce off of it the same way we did right here on the 16th of June. So just about a week ago, we saw a nice bounce off this trend line. So if I go back to the daily, you can see we have this long-term trend line, which I definitely want to see hold. That is a very important trend line. And then we have this shorter-term one that we have formed over the last few weeks. So let's see. We want to see those trend line hold, and we want to see that 14,000 hold. One last thing I want to show you on the NASDAQ is the weekly chart. So here's the weekly chart, and I'm actually going to delete these lines. The one thing I want to show you on the weekly is the 20-day moving average on the weekly chart. So look at all these holds at the 20. One, you have a big hold here for 4 weeks, and you have another hold here over 2 weeks. So if we get a pullback on the deepest part, the most bullish or the most bearish pullback that I would want to see to remain still long-term bullish, so a bearish short-term with a bullish long-term would be a short-term pullback to this 20-day. If we get a few weeks pulling back to this 20-day and we hold it, that's still, you have to still remain bullish in the long term. You know what I'm trying to say here? Another example is you see that we had a nice little bearish turnover here back to the 20-day, But since we held the 20-day, you can still remain long-term bullish. So you had these small pullbacks right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 bearish pullbacks, but we did hold that 20-day on the weekly chart. So if you're looking at the long term here on the NASDAQ, look at this 20-day moving average. We need to hold that. We have not pulled below that in almost a year. It's been almost a year since we have been below that 20-day moving average on the weekly chart. So that is definitely something to watch into the next coming weeks. The next one I want to show you is the S&P. So the ES, we're going to break this down to the daily. This is a very important chart. This is something that was very interesting to see on Friday. Look at this breakdown out of these support levels. So you have these support levels right around here that broke down. And the reason I say that is if we go down to a shorter term time frame, let's say we go down to the 4 hour, what you'll see is we had these previous levels of resistance, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we wanted to see that turn into support, but we broke through that. Right here was another area where we bounced off that level. That was support, resistance, resistance. That resistance turned into support. I would have wanted to see us hold that on Friday on the SPY, on the S&P, but we did not. We flushed right through that level. So this is a little bit concerning on the S&P. You do have these levels down here that held multiple times. You have 1, you have 2, you have a third time here. And so I would want to see this would be the next level that I need to see hold, right around this 41.20 on the S&P, because we have previous support there. I want to see that turn into support once again. So S&P, you can see a lot of rotation out of this and into those tech stocks. The NASDAQ is hitting all-time highs. The S&P has sold off quite a bit in the last few days. So this is important. Let's see how that 41.20 holds. And at the most bearish point, 4,000 psychological level is going to be very, very crucial. So here's the S&P. Let's go ahead and go into the Dow now. And you guys are going to see the intense rotation out of the Dow that we have seen here in the last few weeks. So here's the daily chart. And this is a very deep pullback on the Dow. Look at this pullback on the Dow. These are daily candles. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 straight red days. 10 straight red days. That is very, very bearish to see. Now, we are coming into this 100-day moving average. We need to see that hold. We have not seen a test of the 100-day in almost, what is this? This is almost 6 months. So in 6 months, we have not seen that test of the 100-day on the Dow, and we are coming down into that right now. So this is going to be a very, very important test at the 100-day. If we get support there, you can expect a nice little bounce here. So there might be some opportunity back to the upside if we start to see a support bounce here at the 100-day. We have some previous structure right around this area right here. You can see we have a high. I'm sorry, let me go back to that. You have a high here. You have it turning into support right here. So I want to see this previous structure point hold here on the Dow, which is right where the 100-day is. So if we get some nice support at this level, let's say we chop around for a few days, and then we can get a pushback higher, something like this. That would be a pretty bullish sign. A nice support level here around 33,000 on the Dow, and maybe we can find some opportunity back to the upside. But the Dow, clear rotation out of Dow, clear rotation into tech. Look at the Dow here, and I'll go right back into the NASDAQ, and you guys will see the large difference in the last few days. So the last 10 days has been up on the NASDAQ right here, and then the last 10 days on the Dow have been down. So rotation in the tech, let's see if that continues into next week. There's my analysis on the futures. If you want to see these every single day, I do this every single morning on my live streams, so come check it out. We look at the futures before we do anything, and we analyze where the overall market is. So guys, the first stock that I want to go over with you today is the one and only Tesla. Tesla has been in this bull flag for quite some time. Since the highs back here in January of around $900 a share, we have started to consolidate lower, but we have held a very strong support level here around $550. So we have 2 tests of that 550, and we have 2 holds of that 550. On the long term, you can see we have this long-term downtrend. If we test that level, it is going to be a crucial test if we come back into this long-term downtrend. So let's go ahead and see if we can get that. Now, if we break this down to the 4 hour, something that you'll notice that I have been watching is the uptrend that Tesla has started to form. So right here, we are starting to get somewhat of an uptrend here on Tesla. Now, if this uptrend holds as we continue to move higher, that is much more bullish than us just spiking into that downtrend. I want to see us start to build some structure here. We have seen some structure build. We've had a bounce off the trend line, a bounce off the trend line, and we have the start of the trend line here. So if Tesla can continue to hold this trend line, that is very bullish to me. I want to see Tesla continue to bounce here. If we break this down into the 20-day hourly, I'm going to show you where we need to watch to the upside. So the upside has a lot of resistance here, up here around 625. We have big time resistance in this entire range, all the way up to 635. So this is going to be a very, very tough level. Every single time Tesla has touched these areas, it has had big rejections off the 625 to 630 area. So I'm going to turn this red, and I'm actually going to keep this on my charts for myself next week to make sure that I am ready to go, make sure that I know there is resistance up there on Tesla. So you have one right here, 1, 2, and you have a lot of structure over here as resistance, and you have a third touch of it on Friday. We did have a nice rally, but we did get rejected off that level. So 625, 626, anything above 625 until around 630 is a very tough level for Tesla, and be careful trading into it, because if you find rejection, you're going to see a nice dip like we did all of these other times on Tesla. So to the upside, 625. To the downside, I want to see this uptrend hold. I need to see the uptrend hold here on Tesla to remain bullish on it in the short term. So here it is, a little bit zoomed in for you right there. Uptrend, 3 touches of it. Here is the resistance up here. This looks like something you may know already. That is an ascending triangle. So right here, boom, boom, ascending triangle. Nice support on the downside, some resistance here on the upside. We need to get a break out of this 625 and test that long-term downtrend. So that is Tesla. The next one is PayPal. PayPal broke out of a crucial triple top on Friday. Very, very nice outperformance on PayPal on Friday. So I'm actually going to go to the daily chart, and we're going to see this breakout. So here we go. We have a triple top. We have 1, 2, and we have a third touch here. We had a triple top here at 275. On Friday, we got a nice push through, and something that you'll see when I break this down to a shorter term time frame is a beautiful break and retest. Now, it did not just break through and continue. It broke through on Thursday, and what did it do on Friday? It retested that 275 support level. So a break and retest is the most bullish thing that I usually see on charts. So that is very bullish in my opinion. You had previous resistance right here at 275. We broke through it. We pulled back. We retested it. And look at this reaction off of it. So PayPal is a top watch for me next week with this outperformance that I saw on Friday. If the NASDAQ can continue, then I want to see PayPal can continue as well after breaking and retesting this previous resistance and turning it into support. So if we go back to the daily, let's actually go to the 4-hour. So if we go to the 4-hour, we see that break and retest. We see this resistance here at 275. Very good. Now where do we go? We probably have some room up to these levels, and this is where we started to find resistance. After that, we have up here to around 300, 298. Now you can see we started to reject off this 286, and I believe that is because of this area right here. You have some previous chop in this area, and if you look over to the right, you started to reject right off that 286, 287.50. So to the upside, short term, 287.50. To the downside, I just want to see PayPal hold this 275, turn resistance into support. That keeps me bullish on PayPal in the short term. Number 3, ROKU. ROKU had a very strong day on Friday as well, and we are coming into this very important level that I have been tracking for some time now. So we held this 320 level very nicely. We are starting to form somewhat of an uptrend here, right, on the day or on the 4-hour. 1, 2, sort of a test here, right here at 320, and another test here on the 16th of June. So I want to see us push, and I want to see if we can break above this 370 area. A very tough area. You have rejection. You have a bunch of rejections over here, and you did get through it temporarily, but a big fall back under. So watch 370 on ROKU next week. If we go down into a shorter term time frame, let's go to the 20-day hourly, and we can see that we tested this level a few times. So right here, we had a test of it. This was on Monday. We tested into that red area, big rejection. Friday, we tested into that area and we started to lose a lot of momentum. So on Friday, or on next week on Monday, can we get the break? And then not only the break, I want to see the retest, and I want to see us hold support at 370. If we get that break and we get that retest, then I can be bullish on Roku and maybe we can take a play off this. But 370 is a level to watch. I would not be touching Roku to the upside until I see a break and retest of 370. But I see the uptrend. I want to see that hold. I see the resistance at 370. Let's see if the NASDAQ strength can get Roku through this very heavy resistance into next week. Now, number 4 is BABA. BABA is a stock that has been pretty underperforming for the last few months. So if we go to the weekly chart, right here is the weekly. I want to look at the weekly because I want to see very long term, where is BABA and what can I expect from it coming into the next few weeks. Now, this long-term trend on BABA looks very nice. You have multiple touches on the weekly chart. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 5 touches of this weekly uptrend on BABA. This is a must hold here. If we break out of this downtrend or this uptrend, then you can be a little bit more bearish on BABA in the short term because you can see every single time we moved back to this trend line, we held it very nicely. So I want to see BABA hold this trend line here, right here on the weekly chart. 100-day moving average is above, so we are trading below that 100-day, which usually signals some type of value on a stock. If we go into the daily chart, we can sort of analyze this this weekly uptrend hold a little bit better. So right here, you can see we tested that weekly uptrend. We bounced off it one time here, and we actually bounced off it again right here on, this was probably on Wednesday. So can we break above this little consolidation? Can we break above these lows? This is going to be a little bit tough, right, to the upside. So can we break above these lows? Can we hold this weekly uptrend? Is BABA potentially a huge discount right now? It's potential. Now, I don't want to get into something without waiting for a downtrend to break because this is still on a very big downtrend in my opinion. So if we draw this from the highs and we draw these like this, we are still in a very, very big downtrend on BABA. So what do I want to wait for? If to get into BABA, I want to see a break of this downtrend here on the daily chart. So 1, 2, we had a few touches here to the 50-day. I need to see a break above this downtrend before I can try to get into a play. But this just may be a great opportunity if we look at the weekly chart and we look at where this is on this trend line. It has held this trend line multiple times in the last few years. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Let's go ahead and see, can BABA find support here and start to make a move higher? Maybe the tech sector heats up and maybe BABA is a great opportunity here on the weekly chart. So that is BABA. The last and final one that I have for you today, there is a lot to look at, and unfortunately I just had to get this into 5 stocks because it would be an extremely long video, but there are a lot more stocks to be viewing. So if you guys are looking at stocks, you want me to look at something, come into the live streams. You can recommend a stock. I do all the analysis for you on the live stream, so feel free to check that out. Feel free to join me there. Last one, AMD. AMD had a very nice catalyst come out on Friday. A nice move for the chip stocks, a nice move on NVIDIA as well. So here is AMD. The first thing I want to show you is this very, very strong support here on the weekly, but also on the daily at around $75 a share. So here is a very strong support level that we have held multiple times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 6 times we have held this trend here, this support line around $74.80, $75 a share. So here's the support. I want to see that hold. Right now we had a nice bounce off of it. Next is resistance, potentially in this entire range. So we have a big range here, right around $88 a share. We have a big range of resistance right there. So I'm actually going to turn that into red so that we know that we have some major resistance there at 88. Now, not only do we have that resistance here, I'm going to delete this, but make sure you remember 88 resistance. Deleting that because we have a trend line that I need to see hold. Right here is a trend line to the trend line, a downtrend. If this does not break above this downtrend, then it's going to be a little bit nasty, I think, back to the downside. So here is another test of this trend line. You have a test here. You have another test right here. And if we break this down to a shorter term time frame, look at the consolidation right at this trend line. So we moved up, and where did we start to find resistance? Right at the trend line, a perfect trend line resistance there on AMD. So here's the 20-day. Let's go out to the 4-hour. Here it is, a little bit more clear. You guys can see the trend line is there. You can see the last time we tested it, big resistance. We tested it here, another big resistance. So does AMD sell off back down to 75, just like it did back here in April? Or do we get the break? Do we get the retest? And then do we move higher here on AMD? Very important level on AMD. That's why I'm bringing it up. I want to make sure you guys know, if you are trading this, watch this downtrend. You have support at 75. You have resistance at the downtrend. And you also have resistance back up here in the 88 level, $88 share level. So you have the downtrend, but you also need to watch this entire area up here near 88. So that's AMD. All right, guys, so there are the futures. There are 5 stocks that I'm watching. There is a lot to watch next week, especially looking to see if the tech rotation continues. If that tech rotation does continue, watch your Rokus, watch your AMDs, your NVIDIAs, your Teslas, your Apples, your Shopify and Amazons, which have been on fire. Watch those tech stocks, see if they continue, if the money starts continuously flowing into tech, flowing out of the Dow, and also with that hurting the S&P. Let's see what happens. I hope you guys enjoyed this analysis. If you have any questions, put them down in the comments below. Reach out to me on Discord. You can also follow me on Instagram at The Options Insider. There's a link in the description. You can ask me questions there and DM me there as well. If you enjoyed this video, press that like button for me. Subscribe to the channel for some future videos. Thank you guys for 25,000 subscribers. Let's continue to grow this channel. If you have any concerns, any questions, always feel free to reach out to me. I'm just another person here trying to help, trying to share my education, and I hope you guys appreciate that. Hope you have a great rest of your weekend. Happy Father's Day once again, and I hope to see you in the next video. Peace.